behind me here is Cowan Creek Speed Shop's very own version of a 65 Mustang Fastback. This one has a stroked, big, healthy, supercharged Coyote in it, so we have dubbed this car the Fasterback. It's kind of been destined for a big engine, big horsepower numbers from the beginning, so we've always called it the Fasterback. And man, the car just turned out really good. We're super proud of it. We've got a couple little things on it that make it slightly different than any other Fastback that you see. Not all of them, but most of them, I would imagine. We have the wheel flares that are all metal, and they're just a slight wheel flare, and all that is for is to accommodate a little bit healthier tire. We're running 15-inch wheels, just a fuzz wide. I think the back are 15 by 10s or 15 by 11s, and the front are 15 by 10s. And we wanted just to fit some rubber on there, and that's a 10-inch wide tire on the front, and it's a 12-inch wide tire on the back. You can see the little yellow accents that we have added here. The first owner of this car's had 2 owners since it's been here. The first owner that started the restoration wanted it to look like a P-51 Mustang. So P-51 Mustangs from the World War II era, the cowling, they had the vents around the cowling, obviously, and they were gray and black on the front, and they had yellow around the cowling and also on the tips of the propellers. So, one of the really cool things, probably my favorite thing about this car has got to be this Ring Brothers splitter spoiler. And we put yellow on the end just as if it was a propeller on a P-51 Mustang. So just slight touches to try to make it look a little more like what he wanted. The car was hanging on a lift, and the guy that owns it now came in, saw it, said, I have to have it. Called the owner, get a price. They worked out a price, and he bought it. So now we're building it for the second owner. This car is 98% done, I'm going to say. We have a couple little things just to touch up here and there, and we're going to get a little more in depth here and show you what's going on. So here it is. This is a stroked Gen 3 Coyote. We'll go ahead and give you a quick rundown of every specification on the engine. They are a custom grind cam. Comp Cams made them, but it's from Custom Numbers. They're a very large, healthy cam. This is a VMP Odin supercharger. This is a Gen 3 engine. We maintained the direct injection, so it's still there. And we maintained the 12-to-1 compression. So we don't have to have a whole lot of boost to get more power out of this thing. Just glancing around here in the engine bay, this little tank is our reservoir for our power steering. Back here we have the fuse box for the Ford Motorsports control pack. And then these lines that are kind of in the way and there's really nothing we can do with them are the cooling lines for the supercharger. So this is a air to liquid, liquid to air system. So here is our beautifully taped down. That's part of the 98%. This is our heat exchanger. So we have the lines running all the way back to the trunk to a reservoir / ice chest. The pump is back there, and then it pumps through all of this, through both sides, and comes back out, and we've got colder water that way. So the intercoolers actually are inside of the supercharger, so it blows air up and through them. This is our Aeromotive fuel pump. That's not a fuel pump. That is an Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator, and it's got dash 10 inlets and outlets all around it. Pretty healthy regulator. That little guy right there is for our fuel pressure gauge inside. This looks like a manual brake booster, but it is not. That is actually an electric over hydraulic setup, and right down in there is our electric hydraulic pump. So there's a high pressure line runs out into the bottom of this master cylinder, and that gives us our power assisted brakes. And this over here in the corner hiding is our modern driveline master cylinder for the clutch. And then down inside there is a proportioning valve. Everything's just kind of stuffed and hidden. We do still have to run our lines for the catch can system. And that's just going to be to catch any steam that may be coming out. They're not ran yet because this is a dash 10 and that is a dash 8. So we have to replace those with dash 10s and we're good to go. It does have the March Performance pulley kit on it. We've talked about it before. I've never really showed it to you. What that does on a Coyote, everyone knows they don't have a spot for a power steering pump natively. So the power steering pump is now right here. Underneath it is the AC compressor. And of course the alternator is over in the factory location, but these are kind of spaced out from the block, as you can see there. It's a really neat setup. And then of course we had to adapt the plate on the March system for the VMP supercharger. The little add-on there for March was actually for an Edelbrock, and just the Edelbrocks are just made different, so we had to do a little bit of adapting. Had a bushing made for the pulley to move it out. All that works good. Twin 69mm throttle body straight from VMP. Oh, I'm out of breath. This thing has it all. For a street car, it's just ridiculous. And if we went over the top on anything, it's right here. So this is mated to a Tremec TK, nope, it used to be mated to a TKX. Now it's mated to a Tremec T56 Magnum. We have a good custom-made drive shaft, and that rolls back to, it's an 8.8 with an AJE 4-link conversion, so we get to roll it in, and it bolts in just like it would in your Fox body. It has a Detroit Eaton locker with 390 gears, 31 spline axles. She's ready to get down, absolutely ready to get down. Let's look inside here super quick. So the seats are from TMI. That is a very good reproduction of a factory style center console. And all of our gauges are from Autometer. Door panels are from TMI. These windows are actually power windows. This is your switch. You can hear it click. So you just push it up and down, and that makes your window go up and down correspondingly. In the back, I had to cut this seat down to fit for the very small mini tubs that we put in. It has the Mustang Fastback one-piece headliner, and we already said the TMI seats, and I think we have TMI carpet in this car. So as far as the gauges go, we've just got your standard run-of-the-mill gauges here, Autometer carbon fiber. And then when we added the booster, I needed somewhere to put a boost gauge. And as you can see, we have very limited space inside these cars. Really nowhere to hang one. This is a leather wrap on the post, so there's really no trim on the door post. So I found this cool guy, and it goes where the dash speaker goes. And there used to be a cover over that, and now it's a 3-gauge pod. So now we have fuel pressure, boost, and I needed something to fill the third hole because they only made them in 3 holes. So we have trans temp. So maybe we'll need trans temp. I hope not, but at least we'll know what it is. We also have old air products, heat and AC. Heat's really not hooked up, so we're just using the AC side of that. Works tremendous. I really recommend Old Air products. They always work with me every time I call them. I've put a bunch of them in, and they're super good to me. Let's see, get the interior lights on in here. So we have kick panels with kicker speakers in them, and this is a classic auto sound, Bluetooth, stereo, radio. Looks just like something that would come out for factory. This is a USB and audio input for said radio. Then of course we have lights, wipers, and then here is the OBD port. Fog lights are under there, park and brake, all that good jazz. Does have a big luxurious glove box with the light that works inside. I'm a stickler for little lights. If it had a little light, man, the thing has to work. See on the edge of the door, all that stuff has to work. Roll around to the back of the car here. These are a factory style taillight for a 65, but they are a smoked lens, and they have sequential turn signals. So you put on the right-hand turn signal, it'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's pretty slick. Gas cap from a 71 to 73 Mach 1 car. That was my personal edition. I think it looks cool. You may not, and if you don't, just don't tell me. You'll break my heart. LED backup lights, and we have the valence with the exhaust holes in it. And I think all that worked out pretty cool. You can see how wide that back tire is. The rear stance on this car is just wicked. Absolutely wicked. Stripes go all the way back. That's one of the changes we made for the new owner. The car was in paint when he decided to purchase it, and it had the stripes on the hood, but the roof was solid black, and he said, you know what, let's go ahead and knock that out and put some Galaxy Gray with some black stripes. So we do as he says. We have a bus bar here for the power. The battery is in the trunk, so that's a positive bus bar. This little mess of wires is one of the 2% that isn't finished. That goes into the passenger side headlight, and that'll all be hidden. We hid as much as we could of the air conditioning lines. That's all you can see down there. The rest of them run through the fender with absolutely everything else. And I have to brag on this fan really quick. That is a Cold Case Radiators 16-inch electric fan, but it's 3,500 CFM. When we initially put this car together, we had a Chinesium style fan, 16-inch fan on it, and we were kind of having troubles of it getting hot. It didn't get really hot, but it was hotter than I was comfortable with. And so we called around and finally talked to Cold Case, and he said, hey, you know, you've probably got enough radiator. You just need a little more fan. Didn't try to sell us a radiator, just sold us a fan, and worked out great. So now when the thermostat opens, you can watch the needle drop back. It moves that fast. Like I said, my beautiful tape job here has to go. And of course we have AC lines, and the fog lights are in the box. They're going to go right back here and here, and they look really cool when they're in the grill. They are out because we had to redo everything in order to add the heat exchanger. And then also we have the little grill that's going to go right there in the bottom to cover up the bottom of that heat exchanger and make it look a little better. But I mean, that's our version of a 65 Fastback, and you know, you may like it, you may not, but boy, we like it, and pretty doggone proud of it, to be honest with you. Really don't care who built the car. It's beautiful. It just so happens that we built the car, but you know what I'm saying. Regardless, it's a project that turned out really good. You know, with a project this big, the only two factors that matter are time and money. Sometimes those are the same, but when I say time, I mean patience. Patience and money. And both of those things have been provided anytime we asked for them. If I needed extra time, it was not a problem. If I needed more money to buy something else ridiculous that we didn't already have, it was not a problem. So I can't thank the owners enough for allowing us to see this thing through straight to the end. It's an absolutely phenomenal car. We've got Willwood brakes all the way around, by the way. And of course, it is a Mustang 2 front suspension, and it's made by Heights. Everything's made by Heights underneath. I think we've got some like cheaper steering knuckles and stuff, but it's just a piece of steel. But the cross member and everything else is made by Heights. I don't know how to say Heights. I'm a hillbilly, so Heights is how I would say it. So anyway, it's just got everything. If you look online and they make it for a 65, we've got it. Don't worry, we've got it. If you want to know how it works, call and ask me. Send me a message. I'll tell you, it works great. Everything in here works great. We did have to relocate the oil filter. I didn't tell you that. We'll look at that real quick. So the oil filter is a Canton Racing part that threads on just like an oil filter would, and then you have two lines that come out, and we've got them going through the apron down here at the bottom, and then they come out, and the oil filter is actually right behind this headlight, right there. That's where the oil filter is. So we try to fit some stuff. It's right beside the air filter, so we're getting all of our filtering done in this fender. All electronics in that fender, all filtering over here in this fender. People on TikTok have saw this car, they're sick of this car, so maybe the people on YouTube aren't quite sick of it yet. I hope you enjoy it. We're taking it to the dyno here in just a couple days. So the next video you see will have some footage of this car on the dyno. We're not going just to see how much power it gets. Lund is actually going to finish tuning this car on the dyno for us because the roads here are crap. And I don't really feel like getting a car this expensive out and beating it to death on a road for no reason and possibly going to jail. So we could do all that on the dyno and be on the horn with Lund, send back and forth, get everything done. And then when we leave there, it's a done deal. So again, I can't thank the owners enough for seeing us, letting us see it through. Let's go ahead and shut the hood and give you a good little look of it here one more time. I just think it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at that thing. That's about it. Okay, bye.